Russia and Ukraine held simultaneous military drills on Wednesday as NATO foreign and defense ministers began emergency discussions on a massing of Russian troops near the Ukrainian border. Washington and NATO have been alarmed by the large buildup of Russian troops near Ukraine and in Crimea, the peninsula that Moscow annexed from Ukraine in 2014, and 2 U.S. warships are due to arrive in the Black Sea this week. Russia, which said the U.S. naval move was an unfriendly provocation and warned Washington to stay far away from Crimea and its Black Sea coast, says the buildup is a 3-week snap military drill to test combat readiness in response to what it calls threatening behavior from NATO. It has said the exercise is due to wrap up within 2 weeks. Ahead of the arrival of the U.S. warships, the Russian Navy on Wednesday began a drill in the Black Sea that rehearsed firing at surface and air targets. The drill came a day after NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg called on Moscow to end its troop buildup. Secretary of Russia's Security Council Nikolai Patrushev has said that additional measures are required to guarantee the protection of Russia's national interests in Crimea and Crimeans themselves amid the current escalating tensions in the region due to actions undertaken by the United States, NATO, and Ukraine. All the listed factors require that additional comprehensive measures be taken to guarantee the protection of Russian national interests and the security of the peninsula's residents, he specified. According to the security chief, hostile and destructive acts against Russia must be harshly suppressed and those responsible brought to justice, including in accordance with the norms of international law. In Ukraine, armed forces rehearsed repelling a tank and infantry attack near the border of Russian-annexed Crimea. The drills came a day after U.S. President Joe Biden phoned Russian President Vladimir to discuss a buildup of Russian troops near eastern Ukraine and in Crimea, among other U.S. concerns. The Ukrainian military said it had deployed tanks and artillery in Wednesday's drills to practice repelling a force of tanks and infantry trying to break through its defenses. It posted video footage, set to rock music, of Ukrainian tanks maneuvering in formation and of soldiers loading and firing artillery pieces. Meanwhile, Ukraine's defense minister, Andriy Taran, told European parliamentarians in Brussels that Russia was preparing to potentially store nuclear weapons in Crimea. Taran provided no evidence for his assertion but said Russia was massing 110,000 troops on Ukraine's border in 56 battalion-sized tactical groups, citing Kiev's latest intelligence. Fighting has increased in recent weeks in eastern Ukraine, where government forces have battled Russian-backed separatists in a 7-year conflict that Kiev says has killed 14,000 people. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who held talks in Brussels with Stoltenberg ahead of a video conference of all 30 NATO allies, said the alliance would address Russia's aggressive actions in and around Ukraine without elaborating. Russia's relations with the United States slumped to a new post-Cold War low last month after U.S. President Joe Biden said he thought Vladimir Putin was a killer. In a phone call with Putin on Tuesday, Biden proposed holding a summit between the estranged leaders to tackle a raft of issues, including reducing tensions over Ukraine. The Kremlin on Wednesday said it was too early to talk about such a summit in tangible terms and that holding such a meeting was contingent on Washington's future behavior, in what looked like a thinly veiled reference to potential U.S. sanctions. Russia has regularly accused NATO of destabilizing Europe by bolstering its troops in the Baltic countries and Poland, all members of the Atlantic Alliance, in the wake of Moscow's annexation of Crimea. NATO has denied a claim by Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu that the alliance was deploying 40,000 troops and 15,000 pieces of military equipment near Russia's borders, mainly in the Black Sea and the Baltic regions.